Okay, thank you everybody for staying. We are happy if you show yourselves and maybe switch on the camera. It's easier to talk to each other. But if you prefer staying incognito, of course, it's okay. So we're going to use the next 1 hour and 50 minutes to talk about social innovation for SMEs in the agri-food sector, but especially about innovation. And here we will focus on methods, mindsets, and some helpful insights for you. So whatever level of expertise you are, we hope you were going to find something that's helpful. Please bear with us if you are one of the 6 innovation experts that indicated in the survey that Lisa did that you are a full professional innovation process manager. We tried to make presentation that's understandable for everybody. So yeah, you will see. Maybe you still find something that's helpful. And we would also love you to tell us if we're talking too quickly or too Austrian. Our English is not perfect, but anyhow, if you don't understand us, please tell us. Okay, so we are Isabelle, Goller, and Isabella Natters-Spets, quite similar names, so we divided it into Isa and Bella. If you want to talk to us directly, we are Estuar, verbindend innovativ. This is German and means something like innovative by connecting, because we strongly believe that in between fields of expertise and topics lies innovative stuff. So whenever people from different areas talk to each other, it's more probable that something new will occur. Like today, people like Catalina right now about digitalization, people in the agri-food sector, if you talk to each other, this will be much more interesting than just staying in their own bubble and repeating the same stuff again and again. So that's what we strongly believe. We are based in Vorarlberg. This is the most western part of Austria, near Switzerland. And yeah, it's just the 2 of us. But we have a huge field of experts in all different kinds of topics and have a lot of fun when we work. Yeah, so we always like to start with a check-in, and we would like to invite you to use the chat, and it's a very simple question. Innovation is all about what's new and good in your life right now. And this can be something professional, but it can also be maybe you just got a baby or a new car or whatsoever. Just tell us, and it can be very diverse and very easygoing, and we will just write a bit of your answers. But please participate. Isa, maybe you make the start. Tell me, and I type for you.
Okay, what's new and good in my life? I would say the first thing that came into my mind was a new bus line, actually. So I live on the countryside, and yeah, I always go with the buses and the trains and so on. And there's a new excellent bus line which connects to spots.
Yeah.
And you?
Excellent example. But just go ahead and throw in something. It's really, doesn't have to look extremely smart or whatsoever, but just out of your life. So somebody's happy with Isa's new bus line. That's good. The chat symbol is very on top of Yeah, cool. Not so addicted to innovations, Smiley. Mainly I do risk to try new innovative food. Oh yeah, that's cool. Dalia, meanwhile, other people would contribute. What was the last really crazy stuff you ate? Maybe you can type it for us.
Yeah, I do think the craziest thing, it was like maybe combined, I was like always joking, but one day we will have yogurt with a taste of carrots. I did it. I tried it, if I'm not mistaken, in Sicily. I do remember my grandma was talking that never add, lemon juice to yogurt or milk. It would get sour. But I do love those tastes, and of course, lactose-free is still innovative to me. I do not have intolerance to lactose, but I do love that sweet taste of the milk.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks.
Wonderful example. Thank you. Yeah, so we have all those different senses, right, where we can experience something new. It's also the taste buds. So we have a new subway train in line. Very good. Then just returned after the holiday in Greece. Yeah, then the world feels new, right? Being back home. Okay. Somebody else, maybe. Just type. But we're not going to bother you too long with this. We're just hoping for a very colorful array of new stuff. We have a new song contest winner with Bulgaria, anyhow.
Yeah, right. That's also new. That's
But okay, we got a few answers. Oh yeah, somebody loves Bulgaria. Me too. Yeah, learn to use the car less, walk and cycle because fuel is very expensive. Yeah, sometimes limitations lead to innovation or new ways of doing stuff. That's true. New car for me, an electric one. Wonderful. Okay, thank you for this check-in.
So we start with our presentation. We have divided our presentation in three sectors, and we will talk about innovation, try to find some good definitions. We will look at the fields of application of innovation. And then we have innovation, culture, and mindset for you. And finally, we will talk about customer-oriented innovation approaches. And then there we want to work with you and test one or two methods with you and experiment. Yes. So definitions. There are a lot of definitions out there. What is innovation? And we brought two. Maybe these two you don't know. They're not so well known like others, but we like them because the first one tells us about innovation is about creating value. And yes, Mariana Mazzucato is a professor of economics of innovation and public value. And we like this definition because it focuses on the value we are creating. And that means that value is achieved when we met people's needs. So we like that about that one. And the other one is from Frances Westley, and she is a social scientist specialized in social innovation and resilience. And she defines social innovation as a process, product, or program that profoundly changes the basic routines, resource and authority flows, or beliefs of a social system. We like that one because innovation is also always a change, is always disruption of your system you are working in. So this is, I think, also a very important perspective if you work in innovation processes too, that you are aware that innovation is always, needs always also change in the system.
Which often feels a bit hurtful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wanted to add something? No. Good. Yeah, if you want to say it like this, you can say there are like 4 layers of the new. Innovation can be seen as a mindset, a process, or a toolkit or result. Normally, when we talk about innovation, we talk about innovation as a result. So we all know that it's a new product, a service, or a process. But innovation can also be seen as a mindset. Isabella will talk on that later. Or the other perspective is innovation as a process, as an iterative, co-creative, and open-ended process. And the final perspective is innovation as a toolkit. So there are lots of methods and tools we can work in innovation processes, and we especially like the exploratory methods to discover and deeply explore the people's needs out there to discover problems to do innovation on that. There is an ISO for innovation management. And this is very interesting because innovation is often associated with product development. And however, this is only one dimension of innovation. And this ISO standard for innovation management says that there are 10 distinct areas where we can innovate. As you can see, this can take many forms. In the configuration field, you can see that innovation can be profit model, a network, a process, structure. But innovation can also be product. That is what we know best, I think, or product performance. And another innovation area is experience. For example, we can innovate services, channels, even brands and customer engagement. So there are many possibilities to get innovative. And the interesting thing is that according to ISO, to remain competitive, companies must be innovative across all these 10 different dimensions. So it means that innovation is not only a concern of the R&D or innovation department, if there is any, but should also be of interest throughout the entire organization. There are also different approaches to innovation, and ISO also talks about that. So we can see that there are companies who are like so-called need seekers, who try to identify opportunities for innovation based on the needs of people and society. There are companies who drive innovations through technology, and finally companies or enterprises who try to analyze the market, trends, competition in order to innovate. And there are certain studies on that too, and they found out that the need seekers achieve better results compared to the other two groups. So maybe we should focus on the need seeker approach if we do innovation. And in our experience, it's easy to translate this, that it's but it's true that the need seekers approach is a very interesting one, because if even the best ideas are worthless if nobody wants them. So and there's also another interesting or more studies on startup mistakes. And in these surveys, we can see very often in number one is also that developing something that nobody wants is in the first place, and second places are for like poor HR, or that you don't have the team that you need to bring the innovation to life. And this on number 3, there's often the lack of focus. But number 1 often is that we build something that nobody wants. Here you can see the double diamond process model from the British Design Council. And this is a very well-known and internationally used process model. And it shows that there is a problem space and a solution space. Here on the left side is the problem space, and here on the right side, the right diamond, is the solution space. And furthermore, the model shows that that you need like 2 different types of quality of thinking in innovation processes. You need to be able to think divergent, which means open-minded, unsystematic and experimental thinking. That is what we need in the first phase here in the discover phase when we do research. And also here, you can see it also like opening up the process in the development phase when we go into ideation. In the other 2 phases, define and deliver, it's all about like clothing. It's all about not divergencing. It's converging, which means that here we need rational, logical, analytical thinking. Essentially, kind we are all very well trained in. So, what the double diamond doesn't show very well is the iterative, open-ended, and co-creative working style you have in an innovation process. It looks very linear, no? But actually, if you start here with a topic, a theme, and you go into research, you find some key findings. You come to design challenges. Maybe here you recognize that you have to go like back to research because there are some like blind spots still there. Or if you are in this area and you have came up with some prototypes and you test them, and the tests show that you maybe also should go back to ideation and come up with new ideas, because prototypes they failed in testing and nobody wants this solution. So iteration means that we don't have a predetermined end result in mind. It means that we really develop in small little steps and try to gradually approach an optimal solution. And open-ended is also very important, that we don't have this fixed idea of their end solution right away here at the beginning of the process.
So when you remember what Catalina said, do we really need an app? This would be not open-ended, to define in the beginning that we are going to have an app in the end, not even know the problem, really understand what people need, but already defining we're going to do an app. This would be the wrong approach to really get a good solution.
Yes,
as an example.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes. Everything nice, but without innovation culture and mindset, not so easy to work on innovations, no?
Yeah. Maybe some of this is going to sound obvious, but still we thought of having a few slides on the so-called soft factors of information. They are not soft at all in the end. We've supported many innovation processes processes, oh my God, and have seen that the mindset of the people involved is very essential, because otherwise the stuff they develop doesn't have a chance if they stop in the middle of being open and trying to iterate and adapting and are still also willing to take the hassle. It's not going to be a good process, and nothing will fall out of it that can be used afterwards. That's why we brought a few pictures, and I'm going to simply read it aloud for you. So the first one is embrace the problem. Really fall in love with the problem, not the solution. Isa was talking about this first diamond, the problem space, and it's really, we invite you to stay there for a while and really be curious, discover, gather meaningful insights about the problem, have real deep conversations, talk to people. Like the octopus that is, I don't know the English word, but that is like sucking itself onto something. And in this case, innovation, it would be onto the problem at hand. What lies behind the problem? What is only the symptom, but not the real problem? Really trying to find out. That's important. The next one is let's create together. Like always have try in an innovation process that's human-centered, always try to have your future core customers in the creation team. Of course, not all of them, but a few that seem like the typical future client, because they will give you a lot of meaningful insights also when they are part of the creation team. But also try to include people who know the context you're working in. So the agri-food business, or who only eat organic, or whatever. People who have some deep knowledge that's helpful for your development. This unlocks, as it's written here, solutions that no single expert could reach alone. So this is the other picture, not the Da Vinci alone in his room picture, but the people jamming, like making music together. Then change of perspective. This again sounds obvious, but we experience it quite often in project briefings, that projects are designed solely from an internal need and perspective, but not from the perspective of those who should buy what people are designing for. So really try to understand what people need and what they try to solve by using your product or by using your service. This is really very insightful. And by doing so, assume a beginner's mindset. Like this is the invitation to be, for a short moment of time, a kid again, and bending and seeing behind corners and walls and being really curious in a very natural way, because you're going to discover stuff that experts often overlook. Then this is quite similar, walk in your customer's shoes. We discover all kinds of parallel universes by trying to understand how people live, what they care about, and what sort of physical and digital tools they use in their lives. And we are not all the same when it comes to our living environments, and what's important there, and what's abundantly there, and what's scarce. So really walk in your customer's shoes, even if they seem a bit awkward to like these ones. Then make ideas tangible. So early in the innovation process, try to make things tangible. Tangible means that you can have a grip on it. Don't wait until every detail is thought about and discussed for many, many hours, but try to come up with an easy prototype. Because an easy prototype has the big advantage, people can interact with it. And when they can do that, you will find what's unclear, what people cannot yet understand about it. And it will help you much more than having some fancy presentation decks and documents and written stuff. Get out, meet people, of course. Innovation rarely happens at the desk, only if you are Da Vinci, but who is really? So real insights live in the field, in conversations, in observations and unexpected encounters. Yeah. This is us a few years ago. And the nice guy in the middle is a kind of a prototype. He was representative cardboard man we made to test how he would probably react to some digital innovation we made. So as you can see here, of course, this is not yet a perfect humanoid computer or whatsoever, but it's a beginning. So in small steps, we move closer to the best solution for the people we design for, and we learn through failure. Then iterate. Isa already had this one explained. Innovation is not a straight line. We would often wish it to be, but it's not. It's much more like moving back and forwards and all curves and stuffs in between. But in the end, if we stick to the problem we want to solve and the target group we are designing for, where we can be sure that in the end we're going to have a good solution. Yeah, and also to make this one clear, innovation processes always bring problems, difficulties, and resistance to change. This is natural, so don't be shocked, just iterate. Yeah, and last one, this famous out-of-the-box thinking. It's not so easy because we're always somehow in a box. But what really helps here is to make what-if questions to reframe a project. So we're all trapped in our usual patterns of thinking. Be brave and ask the what-if question often. What if we would do exactly the opposite? What if we would do this for the whole world? What if our target group would be people aged 100 years or older, stuff like that. And also comparisons like, let's develop Tinder for healthy nutrition or something like that help to think outside the box. Okay, that was a short input on mindset, innovation mindset. I hope you're still here. Yeah, you are. Okay. Then now we're coming to different innovation approaches. We were asked to seek out a few approaches that could be helpful for the agri-food sector and the field in which you're trying to innovate or you are innovating already. And we thought, of course, this is maybe obvious in between, that we use customer-centric innovation approaches that ensure that new solutions are grounded in real needs rather than internal assumptions. Like internal assumption would be everybody is going to eat only organic, or organic food is always much more expensive than industrial produced food, or stuff like nobody wants food delivered by drones. We don't know. Okay, this would all be assumptions. We just have to check them. So customer-centric innovation approaches make sure we do test assumptions, and then we have a good fundament for innovation. In this presentation, we introduce 4 approaches: design thinking, then the Google Design Sprint, that is basically a short form of design thinking, or very closely related to design thinking, but yeah, quick. Then the lean startup method and the lead user method. Okay, and we're trying to engage a little bit with you as well, so please don't snooze away. Yeah.
So we start with design thinking, a method, process, mindset we often use at Estuar. It's a human-centered process, as the others are too. And as we already said, it's or already have seen at the double diamond, it from design thinking basically follows the same process. So except the phases, they are named slightly different, and here you can see 5 phases instead of 4, like the double diamond. So, but basically the approach is the same. So however the phase is named or how many phases are there, the approach is the same, like at the double diamond. And more important is that you work iterative and co-creative in this process. And in when we work in with design thinking, the most important phase, I would say, is the research, the exploration phase, is to where we try to empathize, try to understand really the user needs, the people behind the user, through research and observation. That is really important. So, and also the difference, for example, to the design sprint, where we have just a short amount of time to come up with a solution. And here we invest quite a time in the research phase. And after researching, we go into defining the problems. We come up with key findings from the research, and try to synthesize the insights into design challenges. And these design challenges are the basis for the ideation phase, where we brainstorm, where we use different methods for creativity. There are lots of creativity techniques out there to use to get out of the box when you are in the ideation phase. And then we pick up 1 or 2 or 3 ideas for which we build prototypes in order to test them with our customers, our users, the people. And we test them because we want to get user feedback to refine and improve our solution. To go in this iterative circle of improvement, looking for the optimal solution for our users. Yes.
Maybe just to add, we also have studies that when you have a rough prototype, not extremely defined prototype that looks almost as good as a real thing, that you get the most honest feedback for that. Because people say, well, this is just cardboard, or this is easily and quickly made. I can be honest and tell you that basically you got the wrong problem solved here, or this is not really on point. But I would like to tell you that I always have trouble with blah, blah, blah. And this is exactly the feedback we're looking for. So again, here, as Isa stated before, it's not done as soon as we have a prototype, we're on our way to a serial production. It's still a phase of learning and learning again and again.
Yes. And when it comes to time, the most of the time we invest is in the research phase, and the others, like ideate and prototyping and testing, ideation you can do in a good time boxed day, rather than that you ideate for weeks. You ideate, you come build easy prototypes, and you go out for testing. And the testing phase maybe leads also a little bit of your time. So that's it. We would recommend to use design thinking for complex problems. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, now the how might we questions. We hope that you maybe heard about building how might we questions before, as some of you told us that you are quite on an expert level. You should have heard about how might we questions. What is it? It's first of all, we start every innovation process with coming up with an initial question. And this initial question is also a how might we question, but still very broad, because we have to go into research and really embrace the problem, as we heard. And after that, we can build or we can reframe the question, and we can build a professional how might we question, which are the basis for the development afterwards. So the how might we question then should be positive. It should be very specific, but also broad enough to leave room for creativity. And it should not contain a solution. We brought an example for you how this maybe could look like. For example, if we have the problem that if our problem or topic is people with dyslexia, people with dyslexia have learning disorder characterized with difficulties in reading, interpreting, and writing. Then the how might we question, how might we support people with learning disorders, would be too broad. Too narrow, for example, and also anticipating already the solution, would be how might we develop a learning app, this is the solution, for people with dyslexia. So the other is too broad, the other is too narrow, or has the solution in it. We want to have a question that is, specific, but yet not too leaves room for creativity. What could a good starting question look like? Any suggestions? And the good thing, it's not there is only this one how might we question. There are a lot of possibilities for a how might we question. Yeah. You have an idea.
Yeah, so be courageous. It's also important for innovation. Just take your first thought and tell us. So too broad because it doesn't give orientation where we're heading to. Too narrow because it's already, clear. The adventure is missing because we know what what we're heading for. So what could be in between and really give some good pull and makes you feel a little bit curious and wow, yeah. What a fantastic thing to think about. Okay, so maybe we just share what
we have an example, but as I said, it could be another how might we question, just an example, because imagine we went maybe with an initial question, which was quite broad into research. And maybe our initial question was, how might we support with people with dyslexia? Yeah, point. Initial question, research. And in research, we found out that, for primary school pupils, starting school is very, is a very important experience. And influences their self-confidence afterwards. So, as we found out that in research, our how might we question could be, how might we make starting school for primary school pupils with dyslexia a positive experience so that their self-confidence is boosted. There could be other how might we questions as well, because for sure we have discovered that there are problems for people with dyslexia in when they are older in their working environment, and we found out so many different kinds of things and problems. This is just one design challenge that we could work on in this field, for example. And you can see it's very specific. We know its target group is the primary school pupils. It's very specific about the starting school phase, and it's also clear about what we want to achieve. We want to achieve a positive experience so that their self-confidence is boosted. Yeah, and there are no hidden solutions in there. So we don't talk about the solution yet, about if it's an app, it's a platform, it's a book, it's a, I don't know, ritual, or what we are designing. Yeah.
If you're wondering why this is important, it's just to get a good grip on what we're developing for. And here we have a few columns that are clear. Now we have primary school pupils as our main target group. And of course, we would have checked how many are there. Is this a market big enough so it can be a viable business afterwards? And of course, primary school pupils, there are a lot. So yes, they are, and they are loved by their parents. So there will be money in this. Yeah. So of course, in this whole iteration process, you also have this in-between thoughts, but this is a beautiful question.
Yeah. Yes, we think that how might we questions are really very important in an innovation process, first as an initial question, then reframed before getting started with the ideation. And it is not so easy to come up with a really good how might we question. You need quite experience how to do that, but you can, we would like to try it out with you afterwards. We like to use this fill in the blank text when we do how might we questions. And we also would recommend that you work in a team. So start with a brainstorming to come up with lots of how might we questions, from which you choose the best how might we question together. Yeah. And this would be our first test of methods, the how might we question fill in blanket. That you use it and that you try it for your own project. I think we take 5-minute time for individual work. And just try it out. Maybe you write like many and then you pick one how might we question, and please share your how might we question in the chat, because it would be very interesting. We would love to know on which topics you are working, and maybe you discover in this online community, there is another project in a quite similar area that I am working on. So it could be interesting too. So therefore, please add your name if you're happy for others to contact you. So put in your question, how might we, and then your email address.
Yeah, maybe we let Claude help us, the AI LLM model, and let Claude aggregate the questions that are quite similar, so you can more easily or quicker find each other. But of course, you would have to be okay with that we would put your question into Claude AI. So maybe if you don't want that, then just don't put your question in the chat. And if you want to, because you're interested, if there are similar questions or people that would be interested to talk to, put it in the chat. And as Isa said, add also your email address. And I will put it in to give it to Claude, so it could then do some clustering work that's helpful for us. Was that clear? Just maybe thumbs up or too confusing? Okay.
Thumbs or other signs that we know that you heard. Yeah.
Okay.
Just give it a try. Yeah. And
Gibt es eigentlich einen Timer? Timer.
So the time is up. And yeah, we got 2 questions, so we don't have to cluster them, I think.
No.
They can stand as they are in the chat. Thank you, Jonas. And this is Susie. Susanna.
Yeah.
Susanna. Okay. Oh, no, another one is coming from Dalia.
Great.
Yeah, very different topics you are working on. One is how might we create an artificial intelligence application that would assess the number of vaccines and their compatibility over a given period. In contrast to how might we use dance in Erasmus Plus project to connect young people from different cultures and improve inclusion, confidence, and creativity, from Susanna. And Dalia is working on how might we educate engagingly students to be more critical thinkers while using AI tools to give an outputs. Why copy-paste is the easiest way. Okay. Yeah, very good.
Really very nice questions. I always have a feeling for, is it a good question or not? And they invite us to think about something if they're good, and they all do. So thank you very much for sharing. We're not having a lot of food for AI, but never mind. Thank you for your contributions. Okay.
Good. If there is any question concerning the how might we questions or other stuff, we have time after our presentation. So please note your questions, and yeah, we have time for that later on. Especially if you have a question for this, as we think, important method, then please write it down. Yeah, another very important tool we kind of always use in our innovation process is the stakeholder map.
Exactly. The stakeholder mapping is a very helpful tool to understand your ecosystem, the field in which you try to innovate. So it's important to understand who's in this field and who is very important there, has a lot of influence on the question, are you going to succeed or not? And you really have to manage them closely, or it. Who has to keep satisfied, has middle influence, some interest, but anyhow, you really have to look after them. They are not crucial, but still important. And then you have this third circle that tells you, or that's there for all those entities, people, or things that have some influence. And the best way to treat them is keep them informed. It's more of a one-way communication, really, but don't neglect them. And what the stakeholder map does, it creates an overview of the different stakeholder groups. Then furthermore, if you place all those people in the map, so yeah, I forgot to say that. You could imagine it like a landscape, and you put like people into this landscape. So the more in the middle, the more important this person or group or company is. The less in the middle, the important things, but still is there. And then you don't only put entities or people into the map, but you also connect it by lines and say, okay, this is a strong relation we can build on. This is a weak one. This is one that does not exist yet, but should be established. You could say, put little like hearts because they are friendly customers, friendly partners, people you can count on. Then you also have maybe with your competitors, there could be a conflict or some other conflict for resources or distribution channels and stuff. So you would rather have this little arrow like for bad weather. And then you have an overview on what you should work on while trying to bring your innovation into life. That's basically it. Very short explanation. It looks a little bit like on the right side then, a bit chaotic, but still helps you to figure out what to address next and what to do. And it's a living paper thing. So we really often print it and having in the office and also looking at it is, did we discover somebody new? Did we change a relationship? And always having it revised regularly. And so it's a really working tool. We would like you to start with a stakeholder map today and now and put you in small groups of 4, because we're 20 people now. That's with us. So yeah.
So yeah, teams of 4 or 5. Would be good.
And maybe we show you on our Miro. We made online canvas for you, so it's easy, and we're going to explain it right there. Can you see this? Yeah, you can. So every team has its own work area, and you again here you see the 3 fields: essential stakeholders, important stakeholders, and interesting stakeholders. Interesting mean they you should keep them informed, but not so essential. Then what you do is you follow the steps 1 to 7. We think that if you're trying to do the first 3 steps, it's a good start. So first you choose one project from your team. Your team is the people you're going to find in the breakout session. They are people you probably won't know. So you just say hi and someone steps ahead and says, I have a project and it would be really helpful to make a stakeholder map. Could you help me work on that? And then this person maybe has a how might we question, if not just the title of the project. Yeah. Okay. Then briefly explain your project in 2 minutes and give your project a title. If you don't have one yet, then decide now and start to work on the stakeholder map by first collecting the persons, groups, institutions involved in your project. In this box, Isa is just clicking it. It's all post-its. Maybe just show how you can move and
you can move with your cursor, and if you click on one post-it and double click, you can write into these post-its.
Yeah, and maybe this is Tom. Let's just show.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right, whatever.
It was not a good showcase like Tom. So
yeah, so Tom is essential because he is our distributor or whatsoever.
Yeah, so we put him here.
Exactly. Yeah. And you help each other. Even if you have only had 2 minutes explanation of the project, you are especially helpful because you come up with stakeholders the person in the project wasn't able to think about. Because if you're in your box, as we heard, sometimes you lose certain things. So this is extremely helpful if people from outside the project join ideas or bring in ideas, and you can remove items again. So just go for it, have fun. And if you get further on than 0.3, perfect, or 0.4, you can do the whole thing, but we give you a quarter of an hour time.
Yeah.
Right?
20 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes. Yeah. Maybe I would like to add that what was it? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you have the stakeholders. You can write into the then you put it there. And if you are like super quick and you would like to start also with the connections, you can find them here. Here you can put a line or arrow or whatever to connect and you can also write what the connection is, and yeah. But we will see how far you can how far you get in 20 minutes. We have never seen a stakeholder map with less than 20 stakeholders. So if you have just 3, you should maybe think about it longer, because for sure there are more. Because what we often forget are like, government or institutions that could influence our project, law, stuff like that.
Yeah, also obvious people maybe, but so obvious that you forget them, like neighbors. Maybe you want to open a shop that's runs during night, and maybe you have neighbors that are not so amazed by that. So yeah, also think in terms of who could be unhappy with what you're trying to do, or extremely happy, or
could push it, could help you push it on this. Maybe the neighbors could help you in the distribution. Maybe they are friendly neighbors. We don't know.
Whatever. So also along the value chain, who is ahead of you and after you, you will find a lot of. Did we bring a stakeholder map with us to show?
No, don't think so.
We have one on the side.
Yes, we have one on the side. Here there are also helpful questions to find and analyze your stakeholders. If you are quick with your stakeholders, and you can go through these questions also that are very interesting. Yeah, to analyze them and to go deeper into understanding the stakeholders. Here is an example how it could look like. How a stakeholder map could look like. So you have the different stakeholders and all the connections, and here the connection signs. Is it a friendly connection? Is there like exchange of money and whatever? So yeah.
So we invite you to play a bit. Lisa, we would ask you to set up breakout rooms, and you will be leaded into breakout rooms and also brought back, right? Automatically. They don't have to go back.
After 20 minutes, so I'm going to open all the rooms, so you will be left from this in the next few seconds.
Yeah. So maybe you also take the Miro link from the chat with you, so that you have it in your group, that you can work on your stakeholder map.